everyone, Kim Darwaza here, and I'm here with a real estate market update. It's been a little bit. Things are really pretty much the same as they've been. Active listings dropped off about 30,000 since last month, but existing home sales are at a 15-year record high, which basically what that means is that people are buying houses that they wouldn't have normally bought previously. They're just desperate to get into anything. So houses that back to roads or have power lines or have other things that aren't that great, people are buying anyway. We've had the most housing starts since 2008. And what a housing start means, new construction with a builder. You know, for a while they were slowing down because of they couldn't get the materials and that kind of thing, but now that is up. House price appreciation was up 15% in 2021 and is projected to be around 10% this year. And you know, with inflation, I'm getting a lot of questions on inflation and how that affects real estate. Well, real estate always beats inflation. It's sort of a long time honored inflation hedge, and just because it's a tangible asset and those tend to hold their value when inflation reigns, unlike paper assets. So more specifically, just to give you an idea, 2021 inflation was 6.8% and home price appreciation was 18%. So that's good news for homeowners. And some experts are saying that 2022 spring housing market might go down as the most competitive on record, and I believe that to be truth, and I'm already seeing that with my buyer clients. And they're also saying, you know, we hear a lot about the bubble and oh my gosh, am I getting in when it's really high? They're expecting that if you buy a house in 2022 for $350,000, which in our market it would be like a condo, very low, that you are expected to gain $90,000 in equity by 2027. So that is very considerable, and you know, a great reason to still buy. So that's good news. And then mortgage rates did drop slightly right after the Russia-Ukraine war started, but they are starting to, it was short term and they're starting to go back up again. So maybe they'll come down, maybe they won't. It's just something to watch. Home price appreciation went from 10% in January 2021 to 18.1% by July 2021, but it has plateaued and is you know, still about 18% as of November. Foreclosures are not surging. You know, I think a lot of people are like, oh my gosh, there's going to be tons of foreclosures. Pre-pandemic January 2019, there were 11,960 foreclosures in the United States. January 22, there were only 4,784. So that's almost like half. And a lot of the reason why is because people have so much equity in their house, they can sell it and they don't have to worry about doing a short sale or not getting money out of it. So they're not just dumping it like what people were doing during the mortgage crisis. And the bottom line is that those foreclosures are just going to remain below historical numbers while we have this price appreciation situation. And plus they're giving fewer people loans with a credit score less than 620, which back, because I already lived through this one time, you know, basically I used to joke, if you had a pulse or you could fog a mirror, you could get a loan. There were like no doc loans where you didn't even have to prove you had a job, and this pick and pay where you could like do PITI, or you could just do interest only payment, or this month you could just pay whatever you wanted. I mean, it was a little crazy, and that's why people got into a lot of trouble. So there were 6 to 10 months of housing inventory during the mortgage crisis, and right now there is less than 2 months. And a seller's market would be even if there's less than 6 months inventory. And then only 1.3% of loans are in forbearance. That was something that was allowed during the pandemic. It was about 8.5% of loans were in forbearance in 2020. So things are getting better. 4 out of 5 people have either worked out their forbearance and started on the regular payment track, or they had equity, so they sold and got out, so it wasn't like a problem. And you know, Fairfax County is the largest jurisdiction in the DC area and has the lowest crime and is considered the safest jurisdiction. So that's one reason why our housing market is very strong. So just what I'm seeing too with my clients. So I have 7 buyer clients right now. And normally I'm like 80 or 90% listings and 20% buyers. You know, my listings, I have about 5 that are in the getting ready process. But, you know, if there's 10 listings and let's say, you know, between the agents, I have 20% of the listings. Well, the number of listings is down, so I'm just going to have a smaller part of that pie. So I probably, you know, because a lot of times like in the springs where the market's crazy, slow, I might carry 10 to 20 listings at one time, which is a lot. And now there aren't 10 to 20 listings for agents like me to have. So anyways, in my, you know, there's some agents obviously that sell hundreds of houses a year and they have teams of, you know, 30 people, which my team's not that large. So it's all relative. And the buyers I have, it's been really tough. I finally got one through for a military client. It was a military family selling the house, so they had that connection. And I think that's why they chose our offer, where everyone's waiving everything: inspections, financing, appraisal. I have a buyer who was one of 19 contracts last week on a house in Burke that was listed at $525. And I have these first-time home buyers, and they have 20% to put down, which is a lot of money for first-time home buyers, for people who've never owned a home. These are people who are like right out of college, you know, so they don't have $300,000 worth of saved up money because they're just not old enough yet to have that unless they have like family money. So I have these really high quality clients who can't even get in properties. I have clients who are in the 2.5 million range, and there's multiple offers on properties. I wrote an offer for another buyer a week ago. We wrote at $100,000 over list, and it's probably selling for $300,000. And the agent said it's selling for over $300,000 over list, and that's in the Oakton area. My buyers who are one of 19, you know, police officer, had 20%. I'm still trying to figure out from the other agent where we were in the stack. Like we waived everything and went, I think, like $25,000 over list, which on that price house is significant. You know, it ranges. If a house is 1.8 million, then yes, that one might sell for $300,000 over a list. But if you're in a $500,000 or less range, it's usually $25,000 to $35,000. It just depends on the area too, obviously. So that's what I'm seeing. It's very crazy. And, you know, I like to keep it real. And I see all these agents out there who's like, oh, yes, my excellent negotiating. I got this house for my client. I'm like, it's not the comps don't really matter at this point. I mean, like, it's how much money your client has and if you're willing to waive all contingencies. It has nothing to do with yes, I do have relationships with agents, and if we're like close with another offer, then yes, they might give us the benefit of the doubt and say, can you come up to this number? I might get that call. But if my client's offering $50,000 less because that's all the money they have, they're not going to go with their offer, and that has nothing to do with the agent. And it just makes me crazy when I have to see this. So, anyways, yes. So it's the Wild West out there, and every house is different, and every situation is different. And like I said, the comps don't really matter. So the way I'm approaching it right now is I'm looking at the comps, but then I'm saying, okay, the houses in this neighborhood have been selling for $35,000 or $50,000 or $100,000 over the list price. So I'm approaching it that way more than, okay, because someone is going to pay. It's not a matter of whether the comps, they are what they are, but this next sale is going to set the next precedence, and it's going to be the new comp, and the house after that is going to be higher. So as far as like getting a deal or that kind of thing, it really, the comps don't really matter. It's more of just kind of getting you in a position to know how far, because if you can only go $30,000 over a list price, then you know, it's, and everything in the neighborhood selling for 50 or 75 or 100, it's not even worth our time to put the offer in. I mean, I'll do it, but I just like to set the expectations so we're not just out there doing things, and then we can reevaluate. And again, that's a neighborhood by neighborhood price range. You know, it's not a blanket for the entire area. So with each one, I have to do the due diligence. But anyways, thanks for watching. And as always, if you have any questions or anything you want me to talk about, I'm more than happy to answer it. Just either you can PM me or you can leave a comment. And thanks.